Something massive is unfolding in South America, and most of the world is looking the other way. If you ask the average person what they know about Brazil, you'll hear the same three things: world-class soccer, vibrant samba festivals, and the sprawling Amazon rainforest. It's the ultimate vacation destination, right? But behind the postcard-perfect beaches and the rhythmic drums of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil is making moves that have nothing to do with tourism. It is quietly, methodically, and aggressively laying the groundwork for a continental empire. We're talking about massive infrastructure projects, secret strategic agreements, and a military buildup that is turning heads in Washington and Beijing. This isn't just about domestic growth anymore. Brazil is positioning itself to become the undisputed hegemon of the Southern Hemisphere. If they succeed, the global balance of power won't just shift, it will be rewritten. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on Brazil's master plan to dominate South America and why the world needs to start paying attention. The sleeping giant awakes. To understand Brazil's ambition, you first have to grasp its sheer scale. Brazil isn't just a country, it's a geographical titan. Spanning over 8.5 million square kilometers, it occupies nearly half of the South American landmass. It is the fifth largest nation on Earth and the most populous in South America, housing over 210 million people. But size is just the beginning. Economically, Brazil is a powerhouse that dwarfs its neighbors. In 2024, its GDP soared to $2.1 trillion, making it the largest economy in Latin America. They aren't just selling coffee and sugar anymore. Brazil is a global leader in exporting soybeans, beef, iron ore, and even sophisticated aircraft and crude oil. Its trade tentacles reach every corner of the globe, with China, the United States, and the European Union competing for its resources. Geographically, Brazil holds all the high cards. It boasts a 7,400-kilometer coastline along the Atlantic Ocean, home to massive deep-water ports like Santos and Rio de Janeiro. These ports are the exit valves for millions of tons of commodities, giving Brazil a stranglehold on the trade routes of the South Atlantic. Then, there is the Amazon. Brazil controls 60% of the world's largest rainforest. While the world calls it the lungs of the earth, for Brazil it is a strategic shield and a diplomatic weapon. It contains unparalleled biodiversity, massive freshwater reserves, and rare minerals. This forest gives Brazil a seat at the head of the table in every global climate discussion. When Brazil speaks about the environment, the world has no choice but to listen. Perhaps most importantly, look at its borders. Brazil shares a boundary with 10 out of the 12 other nations in South America. It is the literal heart of the continent. Historically, Brazil was content to be a quiet giant, focusing on internal issues and avoiding regional drama. But that era of isolation is over. Since 2019, the giant has woken up, and it's realized that it doesn't need to fire a single shot to take control. Redrawing the map, the Bioceanic Corridor. Brazil's strategy for dominance isn't built on threats, it's built on asphalt and steel. They understand a fundamental truth of geopolitics. If you control the roads, you control the flow of wealth. For decades, South American trade was hampered by the Andes Mountains and the lack of internal connectivity. If you wanted to ship goods from Brazil to Asia, you had to go all the way around Cape Horn or pay massive fees to use the Panama Canal. Brazil's solution? The Bioceanic Corridor. This is a multi-billion-dollar network of highways and railways designed to link Brazil's Atlantic ports directly to the Pacific ports of Peru and Chile. This isn't just a road, it's a land canal. By creating a direct land bridge across the continent, Brazil is effectively bypassing the Panama Canal and positioning itself as the middleman for all trade between South America and Asia. But this isn't just about Brazil's exports. Nations like Paraguay, Bolivia, and Argentina are now becoming physically dependent on Brazilian infrastructure to get their goods to market. This creates a gravity well effect. When your entire economy relies on your neighbor's roads, you don't argue with your neighbor. Brazil is building authority. 1 mile of pavement at a time. Debt book diplomacy, buying loyalty. While the engineers are building roads, Brazil's central bankers are busy with a different kind of construction, buying loyalty. Many of Brazil's neighbors, Argentina, Venezuela, and Paraguay, have faced years of economic turmoil. They've struggled with hyperinflation, mounting debt, and political instability. In these moments of crisis, Brazil hasn't just offered thoughts and prayers, they've offered cold, hard cash. Since 2018, Brazil has been quietly funneling billions of dollars in loans, investment deals, and financial aid to its neighbors under highly favorable terms. Take Argentina, for example. In 2022 alone, Brazil provided a $600 million credit line to support Argentine imports. This wasn't charity, it was a calculated move to align Argentina's economic interests with Brazil's. When a country is financially tethered to you, they become your diplomatic proxy. We see this in Mercosur, the powerful regional trade bloc. While it's technically a partnership between Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, everyone knows who holds the remote. Brazil sets the agenda, leads the negotiations with the EU and China, and acts as the gatekeeper for the entire region's trade policy. At global summits like the G20 or COP27, Brazil doesn't just speak for itself, it speaks as the voice of South America. They have successfully convinced their neighbors that what is good for Brazil is good for the continent. It's a masterclass in soft power, making yourself so essential that your neighbors can't afford to ignore you. The iron fist in a velvet glove. However, influence and money only go so far. To be a true regional hegemon, you need a big stick. Brazil has historically been a peaceful nation, but recently, its defense spending has skyrocketed. In 2022, Brazil's military budget topped $20 billion, the highest in South America by a wide margin. They aren't just buying old surplus, they are investing in high-tech, cutting-edge hardware. They recently acquired 36 advanced Gripen fighter jets from Sweden, a move that gives them undisputed air superiority in the region. They are collaborating with France to develop nuclear-powered submarines to patrol the Blue Amazon, the vast, resource-rich waters off their coast. They are even deploying advanced drone technology to monitor the deep interior of the Amazon. The interesting part? Brazil doesn't have any real enemies. No neighbor is planning an invasion. So why the buildup? Because a powerful military is the ultimate insurance policy. It ensures that Brazil is the peacekeeper of the continent. If a conflict breaks out between two smaller neighbors, Brazil is the only power capable of stepping in to mediate. By being the strongest kid on the playground, they ensure that everyone else follows the rules, their rules. A global superpower in the making? If you zoom out, the endgame becomes clear. Brazil isn't just trying to be the king of South America. It's trying to leverage the entire continent's resources to challenge the established world order. South America is a treasure trove of the materials the 21st century needs. It has the lithium triangle for electric vehicle batteries, massive untapped oil and gas reserves, and an agricultural capacity that can feed the planet. By controlling the infrastructure and the diplomacy of the continent, Brazil becomes the gatekeeper to these resources. This puts them in a position to negotiate as equals with the United States, China, and Europe. They are already a key member of the BRICS nations, working to create a multipolar world and move away from US dollar dominance. For the West, this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, a stable, leading Brazil can act as a regional anchor. On the other hand, a Brazil that controls the world's tipping point, the Amazon, and its most vital minerals, is a Brazil that can't be bullied. When Brazil speaks at a climate conference, they aren't asking for permission, they are stating terms. If the Amazon hits a point of no return, the whole world suffers. That gives Brazil more leverage than 1,000 nuclear missiles. The transformation of Brazil is a lesson in strategic patience. They didn't use grand proclamations or aggressive threats. They simply put their heads down, built their economy, connected their neighbors, and waited for the right moment to lead. The country once known only for soccer and carnival is now the architect of a new continental order. As Brazil continues to bridge the gap between the Atlantic and the Pacific, and between the global South and the superpowers of the North, the world must realize that the giant of the South is no longer sleeping. It's running the show. The real question is, as Brazil takes its place on the global stage, how will the traditional superpowers react to a South America that finally speaks with one powerful Brazilian voice? If you found this deep dive into the geopolitics of South America fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're covering the shifts in global power that the mainstream media often misses.